Hi, sports fans, and welcome to the Ultimate Football Show, Episode 7. It's the UFL End of Season Playoff Preview Podcast. Guys, I'm your Commissioner Sway. Join with me on this podcast, we have the illustrious KingJu, Chargers owner. What's going on, King?
Not much. Represent AFC West, Cobra Kai, never die over here.
All right, KingJu's season's over, so he's looking for things to do, so he's joining us on the pod tonight. We also have NRenard, the Jaguars GM. Renard, thanks for joining us.
No problem, man.
Glad to have you on the show. Sober once again.
As always.
All right. Well, we got a great show for you guys lined up. We got plenty to talk about as UFL Season 2 is winding down. Second season nearly in the books, guys. I'd say pretty smooth so far. In UFL 4, we haven't really ran into any issues. We've been running pretty smoothly, so we do have quite a bit to talk about. We got some new owners in the league. We want to talk about some end of season stuff, as well as a look at the playoff preview. So I'm going to go ahead and first I want to talk about some new owners that we have in the league. We've had a lot of roster moves, a lot of new guys coming and going, and we've also, some of the older guys have kind of run their course in the league as far as their participation in the league. So we have made some roster changes. I'd like to welcome the business in as the Cincinnati Bengals owner. He takes over for Money Matt, who left with some personal issues. So doing a great job so far, taking over that Bengals team, and they're looking prime for the playoffs. We also have Coach joining us as the Denver Broncos GM. Coach has never been in the league before, but he has followed the league quite a bit through the UFL coming up in its previous seasons. So this will be his first time as an owner in the league. We have Louis Bakes, the Detroit Lions GM. Louis just missed out on a playoff appearance, won 4 games straight to end the season, so we'll be talking about them next year for sure. But he's another solid player. He's never been around the league before, but very, very glad to have Lou. He's doing a great job participating in the league, so we're glad to have him. And Lil Tex takes over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lil Tex, again, never been in the league before or anything, so it's going to be interesting to see what he brings to the table. Won his season finale game, so again, it's going to be a big question mark to see what the Buccaneers are going to do this offseason. Also in the NFC East, the New York City Punisher takes over for the Dallas Cowboys. I know we've got quite a lot of new owners, so taking over for the Cowboys. He is a friend of the business, the Bengals owner. So again, we have another new owner there. Looks so far pretty active. So, and then we have a team change with Outcast taking over the Rams. He will now be the Rams GM, making that NFC West even more competitive. So, quite a few new owners. Dave, King, what's your take on the new guys so far? Pretty positive so far as what you've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I've only played Coach. I haven't played any of the other new owners, and he was, easy to get a hold of. I swear he was taking it easy on me to get a better draft pick because things usually don't go my way. But, I mean, he seemed like a great guy. The other owners have been pretty decent on the board so far, and we'll truly find out everyone's true colors come draft because that's a real heavy period on the boards, off the boards, on the blast, and even mumble. And, frankly, during the draft, we'll see. We'll be able to tell whether or not how serious they are. But right now, all I have is good marks for them all.
Yeah, I mean, we did have one or two guys come in that weren't exactly UFL material that we quickly made the roster changes there. So, Renard, what are your thoughts on the new guys from what you've seen?
I've only played the Bengals owner. He was pretty legit. It's a close game. The rest of the guys, they seem to be on the boards. Happy with them so far, but time will tell. See about next year if they get beat and have any rage quitters.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, the good thing is these guys are joining the league towards the end of the season. Most of them, some of them have been around. You know, DeBiz has been around for 4 or 5 games, but most of them have just joined in the last couple weeks. So it's nice that they can kind of get in, play a few games with their team, make some roster moves and get their team primed up the way they want it. Oh, and before I forget, we also have to welcome back Dustin Coyle back as the Pittsburgh Steelers GM, and taking over for a longtime owner Bombs. I totally skipped over Dustin. Sorry about that. So he's going to be taking over and make that AFC North even more competitive. So, so far, great stuff from the new guys. I feel our roster right now is pretty solid. As always, we're always looking to get better as far as our owners and making sure everybody's participating and basically improving our community and participating to make our league that much better. So it's expected from top to bottom, from owner 1 to 32 that everybody is participating on the boards, on the blast, and helping out wherever they can. So. Great job so far to the new guys that have come in. Okay, so season 2 has wrapped up in the books. We have advanced to the playoffs now. We're going to get the wild card going. I know there's some games scheduled possibly later as well as tomorrow morning. I know we have at least my games on the docket. But guys, looking at the playoffs. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about the playoffs later, but let's take a look at the divisions here, and just any comments you guys want to make about each individual comment, surprises, owners, or just where the division's headed. I'll start with you, Dave, in the AFC North with the Bengals taking the division at 11-5. Obviously, many predicted them to win the division with Money Matt at the reins. DeBiz takes over. The business, takes over. Plays strong, takes the division. But you also have Darn Good at 11-5, who, as we all know, won the UFL Bowl last year. And then you have Dustin joining the league and Ford Tough playing some good games. Just beat Dustin a couple game weeks ago. So, Dave, what's your take on this AFC North? For this season and where it's headed?
Well, I mean, if you look just strictly at the standings, you're right. It looks like it was really a two-horse show or two-pony show, whatever the saying is. That's what it looked like. But you're exactly right with the Browns and Steelers. I mean, they just happen to be with the reigning UFL Bowl champion and then Money Matt, who I know he had to leave, but you're talking two incredible year after year after year owners, but they themselves are incredibly competitive. I was surprised to see Darn Good not be number 1. Obviously, I didn't know the head-to-head or strength of schedule that was happening because for some reason on my computer it shows Baltimore as being seated higher, at least in the standings, yet in the playoffs the Bengals get the bye. But I will say, I know we're going to get to this later, but and I'll give away what I feel in that first round. I do feel it's going to be an AFC North battle to get to the AFC Championship round, but we can talk more about that later. But next year, depending on the off season, it's up in the air as far as I'm concerned of which team's going to take it.
Good stuff. Renard, what are your thoughts on the North?
I think with Money gone, it's going to be Darn Good's division to lose. Haven't played the business, and Money Matt. Money was just hands down better than the business. Not saying anything bad about the business, but I like saying the business. But Darn's, I think, going to start taking over the AFC North starting next year.
Renard, where do the Steelers fit in as far as next season? Obviously, they ended the season losing 5 straight. Dustin came in, lost 2 games with the Steelers. Does not like the 3-4 that the Steelers run. Plans to make some big changes there. But what are your thoughts for them headed next year? Do they have any shot at upseeding the Ravens or the Bengals?
To be completely honest, I have no clue how Dustin's game is. I don't know that I've ever even played him, so I can't even say if he's good or bad. And I can't even remember him being in the league. Sorry, but I've just always was impressed with how Darn Good played, and if he can get Ray Rice to stop fumbling the ball, he's going to be that much better.
Yeah, definitely some work to do there in Baltimore. I mean, he's got a really good offense and also a solid defense, even after losing a couple of studs last season to retirements. But darn good, 11-5. A little bit surprising with the way he rattled through the playoffs last year. I had the pleasure of playing him midway through the season, and he was just unstoppable on defense. So I'm not sure how he lost 5 games, but I think the Ravens are definitely the dark. I don't want to say dark horse because we already know they're good, but at 11-5, I think he's the guy to look out for in the playoffs. The business, I got to give him a lot of credit. He did beat Plex. So I give him a lot of credit. He obviously knows how to play a game for 4 quarters. He's no slouch. I mean, he just lost the game, but again, he already had that playoff seed wrapped up. So again, he wasn't really playing for much that last game, but I think he could be a sleeper as far as who to look out for in the Bengals there. Also sitting on a bye week, so he doesn't even have to play this week. Ford Tough, unfortunately has the pleasure of playing with 3 great teams in the division. So I just have a feeling Ford, as good as his skills are, I just don't see him getting ahead in this division. I mean, there's just so much work to do on that Cleveland Browns team. He's got a lot of work to do in the off season. And then the Steelers, one of the top offenses in the league over the last couple seasons. They can move the ball on offense. They got Mike Wallace, Emmanuel Sanders, Ben Roethlisberger's obviously solid. They do need some running back help. Obviously, they lost Mendenhall last season. Chris Rainey appears to be the starter right now. But if they can draft a halfback and grab some guys maybe in free agency and in the draft, to play in a 4-3. I think Dustin, he for those who don't know, I mean, most of us played with him last year, but he was one of the better guys in the league as far as one of the top defenses, obviously with the 49ers, but he very hard to beat Dustin. Didn't go all the way, but I think he's definitely got to be in consideration for a playoff nomination next year. So we may actually see 3 teams in this division make the playoffs next season, unless these guys just beat each other up so bad that they can't get in. So it's going to be interesting to see, but definitely probably the most competitive division in this league. I know that's debatable, but I don't know if there's 3 better owners in one division. So, guys, we'll move on to the AFC South. Renard, I'll start with you since this is obviously your division. Why don't you just give me a quick division outlook? Obviously, you've played both of these guys twice. What are your thoughts on this division and where it's headed?
I think it's headed in a good direction. If I can get my game going, it'll be even better. But JP is really grown in the game, I think. Just playing him up for 4 games, seen a lot of progression out of him. Black Magic has come in and done some good things in Houston, and then you always tipping, and I was unfortunately the cog that kept tipping out of the playoffs this year, so sorry, man. But I think it's a tough division, and even with 4 weeks left to go in the season, it was anybody's division still.
Yeah, good stuff. Absolutely. I mean, it was midway through the season. At one point, the Colts were 6-5. They just caught some bad luck down the stretch there, lost some tight games, and ended the year at 6-10. But Dave, what are your thoughts? I mean, as far as what the Texans have done, 10-6. He's won some solid games, lost to a couple of good teams, but 10-6, won the division. What are your thoughts as far as them in the playoffs? And obviously, we'll talk more as far as versus the Ravens, but what are your thoughts in this division?
I mean, to be honest, I was surprised. Even though early on Tippin was having defensive issues, and he had defensive issues, it seems, throughout the year, I thought it was his division to take. I thought it was his to lose, and I know he didn't make the playoffs, so he did lose it, but to me it was always Tippin's division. Black Magic now and the Texans, they're at the top. He seems very consistent, but I agree with NRenard. I mean, it's anyone's game, whether it be this season, next season, or the one before. You can never count JP out. And I think once the Jaguars get a quarterback that they really feel comfortable with, a true starter, it just throws this division into a crapshoot. But Black in the playoffs, as you even mentioned, we'll talk more about it later. But he will be a force. He will be a force.
Yeah, and obviously Black, he had said it himself. He wanted a full season with the team so that he could, show that he has what it takes to make the playoffs. He did that. Obviously, Cody Meyer drafting him was huge for him. Meyer winning the AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year award on the game. Doubt if he won't win it, when the owners vote as well. But Tippin, very surprising. Obviously, we've seen in the beginning of the season, started the season 1-4, I believe 2-5 at one point. Then he went on, I believe, a 4, 5, 6 game win streak. Everybody thought he was coming around, and then just lost some tough games. So 9-7 did not get in. And that's just how competitive it is right now. You're not going to get in the playoffs with 9-7 unless you're in the AFC West and you win the division. Just very, very another very competitive division, and I think we're probably going to be saying that for almost every division. Very competitive division. I mean, the amount of games that separate these teams is very minimal, and it comes down to, again, division play. The Colts, for example, 1-5 in the division. They have to turn that around next season. The Jaguars, on the other hand, 3-3 in the division. 2-6 at home. Which feel like away games if you've ever been down there, but they just again they got they're doing enough. 3-3 in the division is probably what it's gonna be, but they got to win those other games. So they got to take care of business, and again, it's going to be another competitive division. Hats off to Black for winning the division. Nice job again playing with some very great owners in that division. Hats off to him, and good luck against the Ravens. So let's scroll on down to the AFC East, guys. We had a two-headed monster in the AFC East. Pretty sad that 14-2 will not get you a division title. But we saw it in the AFC East with the 15-1 Jets, the 14-2 Bills. Dolphins struggled down the stretch, as well as the Patriots, still trying to find their offense. At 4-12, they're still adding pieces to the mix there. But Dolphins and Patriots both 1-5 in the division. Losing both their games to the Jets and Bills. Renard, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on this AFC East? What you saw this year.
Big Sig should be slapped for only winning 4 games with those 2 tight ends he's got. Ultimate cheeseball weapons in this year's Madden. With Wright and Sway at the top, it's going to be tough for Big Sig and Inag to even come close to even a wild card in that division. So, it just looks like it's Sway's and Wright's division for all this Madden 13 or 12 or whatever we're in. But
13, bud.
13, Madden 13. Sorry, I missed 12, so I'm a year behind. But it just seems like they're just fodder for the 2 top teams.
Yeah, I can speak specifically for playing both the Dolphins and the Patriots, obviously twice. They're good teams. They're just missing a couple pieces. Sometimes the decision making isn't great, but they both play the game very well. I can say personally, versus INAG, both of our games were pretty close to start. And then they just kind of fell apart as the game went on, and that's kind of what both SIG and INAG have to work on, is just playing, like I said earlier, playing 4 quarters, and not hanging in there and then losing sight of what you're doing. So I think that, I know the Dolphins are still having trouble at the wide receiver position with holding on the balls. Hopefully he's developing his players so that he can improve them and because again, it's the third downs, it's the fourth quarter drives where they're dropping the pass to end the game. It's just all those little things that add up to losses that you just have to take care of business. So, Dave, any thoughts on this division? Obviously, it's pretty well spoken. The Jets 15-1, their only loss was to the Bills. Bills 14-2 with their losses to the Ravens and the Jets. So, what do you anything to add there?
I mean, not much to add, but between what you both said, you both really said it all. I mean, I root for Miami and the Patriots to both, figure out their ways. It seems like a lot of the issues will be at quarterback and the defense, but it's almost, it's just a burden being in there with Wright and the surging Bills. Um, I mean, there's not really much to add, so I'm sorry I can't really say more on it. You both really said it all already. It'll be a tough division for them. Hopefully, they can rebuild well over the draft.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. I mean, the Jets obviously with the bye. Bills prepare for the Raiders, which we're gonna segue right into the AFC West. So, guys, obviously the Ant with his first full season as the Raiders takes care of the division there on a 5-game win streak to end the season. 9-7. We have the Chiefs at 7-9. Chargers 6-10. Lost some games down the stretch. Some must-win games. And the Denver Broncos, which we had a owner resign there, got a new guy coming in late. So again, another mystery as far as what's going on there. But King, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the division this year? And what are we looking at going forward?
Well, in terms of the division, all the owners, I mean, Coach is new to this right now, but so I'm going to leave you out. Sorry, Coach, just for right now. Ant, Dro, and Spad were great. And I know Spad's gone. We miss him a lot. But between the write-ups of this and the play, it's always really fun and a nice internal competitive AFC West. We have a great time, even though last year's winner was 8-8. This year's winner was 9-7. In the beginning of the season, it was really the Chargers and Chiefs. I know we thought Ant was going to have a surge, but he was pretty behind, and it was the Chargers and Chiefs division. We both could not hold, neither one of us could hold on to it. Ant surged his way through with great wins. The last game, which was against the Chargers, Eddie Murphy, which was coming into his realm within those 4 games, started to throw his picks again. So I'm hoping come playoff time, he can relax a little bit more and get back to the Eddie Murphy that we all know or that we would like to know. But I always root for the AFC West. This year and next year will be just as competitive and a toss-up.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, Murphy had a great year for the Raiders. 101 QB rating, 44 touchdown passes, almost 4,500 yards. Did have the 31 picks, but he seemed to be hot and cold at points. Probably just from being, just developing his game. Early on in the season, struggled a little bit, but then kind of came into his zone later on. Again, like you said, at one point they were 4-7. I think the good thing that helped them out was the schedule, to be honest with you, because down the stretch, King, I know you had your last 3 games were against the entire division, so all them division games at the end of the season really helped them roll through. I mean, they went 4-2 in the division, so that really helped them down the stretch to pull ahead there. So, Raiders are definitely not going to be an easy opponent by any means. Shameless Ant's been here before. He's been to 2 UFL Bowls. He knows exactly what he's doing. So it's gonna be a great game. Obviously, it's gonna be a home game for the Raiders. So they're definitely gonna bring their A game. There's no doubt about it. So don't sleep on the Raiders because Ant sure knows what he's doing. He's got a great quarterback. That's gonna lead this team. So definitely don't sleep on the Raiders. But Renard, let me ask you, as far as next season. Are you looking at the Raiders to repeat? I mean, do you see any progress from any of the other 3 teams as far as taking that next step? Obviously, the Chiefs took a step back this year, not winning the division. But what are your thoughts on the rest of the teams?
It's kind of hard for me to talk about the AFC West. I mean, I've only played one of them, and it was my most dominating win in this version of the UFL.
Welcome.
Thank you, King.
Would you win by 10 points?
I think 38-3 or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah, it made me feel real good about myself. But I've had a long relationship with Dro when he was with the Titans. Ant seems like a good owner. I think he'll be anybody's division. Not overly impressed by anybody. not to say anything bad about them, but it's just, they don't have that right plex, that CG, that Biz, that Sway in that division where it's, all right, who's going to dominate? It's almost who's going to win one more game than the rest.
It's almost like they're sharing the wins. Yeah, I mean, definitely progress to be made, and guess what? That's why we have an off season. So King knows he's got a lot to do with them Chargers. Quick fact: they were the worst team in the league as far as getting at the quarterback. So he's got to improve on the getting to the quarterback there. And the Chiefs, obviously had a great season with Jamal Charles, but again, 361 points on the year is not going to win you ball games. Just they got to score more points. I know we got Ricky Stanzi at quarterback, and he's getting arrested, and someone, Eddie Murphy's with the hookers, but maybe there's too much drama in the AFC West. So maybe some of these GMs need to get their guys together and really figure out who's there to win games and who's there to be a diva. So, but then again, some of the GMs are the biggest divas, so I don't know. And that's all I'm going to say about that division. Moving along over to the NFC, guys. Let's start with the NFC North. We have the Chicago Bears, Frank the Tank, with his explosive offense, 720 points on the season, over 40 points a game. Just dominating teams with that offense. 12-4, wrapped up the division pretty handily. To go along with that number one offense, though, is his 32nd ranked defense that allowed 563 points. So it's all about it's the New England Patriots style of ball. Score more points than your opponent. You got the Detroit Lions 9-7, Packers 6-10, and the Vikings 6-10. Riding the tails of Adrian Peterson, who went over 2,000 yards. But Renard, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the North? Obviously, the Bears having a great season. Any thoughts on the Lions, and what can the Packers Vikings do to kind of step their game up?
And I'd like to start. I'm very impressed with just the development in Frank's game since the beginning of the UFL, having him be one of the original owners too. Just how he's progressed as a player. It's been. I wish I could do that. But I don't really know much about the Lions' new owner. Never played them. So can't really speak to him. Rorbo is always has that up and down game that he had last season I played here. So you never know what you're going to get out of him. And then Slush is Slush. He'll rush with Adrian Peterson, but I think he'll always just be kind of the middle of the pack. I think it'll be Frank's division next year again.
Yeah, obviously we know the kind of season Cutler had with 61 touchdown passes. Maybe more. I didn't check after the sim game, but he just really lit the scoreboard up. He's the most valuable player as far as the game's concerned. Obviously with the numbers, those gaudy numbers he posted. He's got an offense. He's got a ton of weapons on offense. I don't see why Frank can't do some damage. But then again, and we're gonna get to these playoffs. Take the Cardinals on week 1. We're gonna talk a little bit more in depth. But don't sleep on the Cardinals either, because they've obviously done some things as well. So, but I'm very confident in Frank's offense. He can score points at will. And then he's got some defensive playmakers that can just make some great plays. Urlacher and Peppers having his great season. I think 34 sacks or something crazy like that. So well and beyond any other defensive end. The Lions, obviously, Lou comes in, wins 4 games to wrap up the season. Big things. I think we could see the Lions doing some damage next year. He just taking care of business down the stretch, and I really think we could get 2 playoff teams out of this division. The Packers with Rorbo, really, I think he's identified, he cannot turn the ball over so much. Aaron Rodgers, second in the league in interceptions with 45 interceptions. 40 touchdown passes, 45 interceptions is not going to win you ball games. He has to become a more balanced team, has to run the rock more. can't try to throw his way out of games. And if he can do that, protect the ball, he will win. He's got a great team, great foundation, and some outstanding players on that team. There's no reason we should be seeing double-digit losses out of Green Bay. And same thing for Minnesota. They're obviously riding Adrian Peterson, but they got to get the air attack going. I know they got Jay Sullivan in there, 7th-round draft pick that they're just in love with, so they'll continue to progress him. And hopefully, come next season, we'll see a brand new and improved Jay Sullivan from what we've already seen, and they can do some damage. But King, anything to add in the North?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with pretty much what both you said. The only difference of opinion I have is really with Minnesota. I mean, I have no problem with people being one-dimensional, whether it's in the air or on the ground, which obviously the Slush has the Vikings just with AP on the ground. So if he really wants to be more competitive, he's going to have to I would work on the defense first and foremost, because as we all know, once you get behind by maybe 2 scores or more, it all comes down to the passing game. The running game doesn't work fast enough. But in the end, I agree with NRenard with this is the Bears division. I don't know enough about Lou to really give the Lions a shot right now. He did win 4, but I give it Frank's division this year, next year, unless Cutler starts throwing more ints. Who knows? But just remember, he did throw 61 TDs, but he did throw, I think, 30-something interceptions. So although he was extremely productive with throwing touchdowns, it's amazing to me that they didn't lose more games while allowing 563 points.
Yeah, 29 picks on that 61 touchdowns, so not too bad. 6,000 yard, only quarterback I think ever over 6,000 yards passing. Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with what you're saying with the Vikings. I mean, 32 points allowed, almost 33 points allowed per game is just, again, you're not, unless you have an offense like the Bears, you're just not going to win those shootouts. And when you're ground based, it's really hard to put up points that quick. So definitely, I agree with you there, Dave. They got to get to the quarterback. I think only 27 sacks on the season. He was in the bottom half of the league as far as sacks. I mean, with guys like Jared Allen on there. Just really needs to improve that defense and figure some things out on that side of the ball. I know they got the rookie cornerback. Robinson or or something, or so they're starting to add pieces, but again, it's definitely the Bears division. Hopefully Frank can improve that defense. I'd hate to see Urlacher retire. Could happen though. But they got some guys that'll help that team along. So wishing the Bears all the luck in the playoffs. So moving along to the NFC South, guys, we have the Carolina Panthers. Another solid season for Biz. 14-2 on the year. Just dominating teams with his defense. Just very number 1 defense in the league. Not even close either. I mean, I think there's 800 yards or something that between the top team and the number 2 team as far as yards allowed on D. Just very nice job on containing the opposing teams. Giggin 7-9, obviously still missing Drew Brees. Hopefully he can get him back next season. But 7-9 on the years, he's coming along. We know he had that great draft. He got some solid guys in the draft, and he'll have another offseason to improve that team, and hopefully he can turn things around. And then Lil Tech's taking over the Bucs, 6-10. This is going to be another question mark next year as far as shocking teams that may surprise us. And then the Falcons, Finn's starting hot, 5-2, loses 9 in a row. So, whatever he was doing early on was working, and then just really fell apart. 1-7 at home, and only 2-4 in the division. So they really struggled on the offensive side of the ball. Maybe force feeding Julio Jones too much. But King, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the South and where you see this division going?
Yeah, I mean, the Panthers' defense is just, there's no words to describe how powerful that is. Don't get me wrong, they have a great offense with Cam Newton. He had a pretty decent season. He was pretty steady the way down. In terms of the running game, they have their number one running back and then Cam Newton. I mean, that's a 1-2 punch in itself. But if his defense stays as strong as it did, you have to give it to them this year and next year. I will say though, who's gigging? His team's slowly coming through, so next year will be a little interesting. We'll see what happens in the draft. And in terms of the other teams, Finns started off hot, but we all kind of thought maybe it would be this is how it would end. I think we all had an idea that it was just that hot start, and it was what we expected. Although he was playing pretty well, it seemed, as just defense couldn't stop on large downs or giving up those big plays. And I hate not really speaking about a team, but being a new owner, there's not much to really say. But we've seen the Buccaneers with owners in the past do really well, so the pieces are there for the Bucs to be competitive. But in terms of this year, I give Gigan a lot of credit, but with a defense like the Panthers had, there's nothing that could have been done.
Good stuff, good stuff. Renard, anything to add on the South there?
I can't say I disagree with anything. I was really shocked to see Finns fall apart like he did. I mean, I played him week 1, and it was one of the games I look back to on this season. It was one of the couple games where I just got whipped. So, really shocked to see him at 5-11. And then I look at Biz, and one of the most enjoyable games I've had in Madden in a long time was playing him. We played to a 10-6 game, but my God, his defense is spot on. And I think even when his offense struggles, he can stay in a game with that defense. So I think it'll be his division again next year.
Yeah, there's definitely an abundance of talent in the Panthers organization, and Biz, got to give him credit. He does a great job, as a GM for that team, always bringing in great talent. I know in the UFL, just in general, he's always done a nice job of bringing in talent. He had always seems to acquire some extra draft picks, and always makes a splash. He seems to be one of the guys, regardless of where he picks, that has a solid draft. So he's always adding talent. I know he added a couple of speed rushers on the ends, and obviously we got to give a shout out to his cornerback Danton Barnaby, who did a great job this season. 9 picks for the NFC Defensive Rookie of the Year. So nice job to him. But not much to say other than we'll see about the rest of the guys in the division. Right now, it's wide open. I mean, it's Panthers, and then it's everybody else in this division. So, guys really need to make some moves and get their teams where they need to be. But again, a lot of it boils down to defense and lack thereof. So, a few of these teams allowing over 30 points a game just not going to win you ball games when you're allowing over 30 points a game. So, again, wish the Panthers best of luck in the playoffs, and we'll move right along to the NFC East, guys. We have the Dallas Cowboys. We had an owner change there. We now have NYC Punisher in here, taking over the helm. 8-8. If there's any division that's up for grabs next year, 8-8. Now, granted, Punisher didn't play most of these games, but there were a couple of games. We did have another owner in here that just was not on the level of the UFL. Lost a few games there, but we have the Cowboys at 8-8. Washington Redskins came on strong at the end of the season. I believe he won like 4 out of his last 6 games down the stretch. Lost a close one to the Cowboys too, on I believe a drop 2-point conversion that would have tied it. 7-9. That's obviously a huge drop for the Redskins, but he showed some prowess there late. And then the Giants, Frank, having some success later in the season. Started, he won 2 of his last 3 there, 5-11 on the season. Then the Eagles 3-13. Renard, what are your thoughts on this division? We don't know much about this new Cowboys guy. What are your thoughts as far as next season, as far as who you can see taking this division?
The last 2 divisions we're going to touch on are just 2 divisions I'm almost completely in the dark on. I haven't played either one of these divisions, and doesn't sound like I will next year. So it's really hard for me to make many comments, especially with how close this division is, and with some new blood in there, it's going to be a crapshoot. I was impressed with the way Frank finally turned it on with the Giants. I mean, he's got a lot of talent there. You'd expect that team to be pretty good. Dallas has good players. Philadelphia will be up in the air next year. And same thing with Washington.
Yeah, I think this is a division that's pretty wide open in terms of who can win this division. I mean, SRC, I think he's licking his chops right now at the thought of starting quick next season and getting ahead in this division. So obviously came on strong late, fell short, but again, an 8-8. If 8-8's going to get you in, I mean, there's no reason one of these guys can't win 9 games. So Fode's sitting at 3-13. I know he's got one of the top picks. He's going to be doing a lot of moving and shaking on that roster. To fit his play style a little bit more. Obviously, 319 points scored is just not going to win you ball games in the UFL. Less than 20 points a game is not gonna cut it in the UFL. So, interesting division, but we wish Punisher all the best in the playoffs. Obviously, only had a few games in the league, but we wish him luck as he takes on the 49ers in round 1. So. And last but certainly not least, guys, one of the most competitive divisions in the league, the NFC West. We have the Seattle Seahawks edged out the Niners in a classic in Week 17. The Seahawks taking the game in overtime, 36-33. Just a classic game between two great teams. Plex with the Seahawks 14-2, CG 13-3 with his 49ers, and then the Cardinals. Also getting in, we had 3 playoff teams. Cardinals getting into the playoffs, 10-6. What a turnaround in Arizona from last season. And then the Rams, 5-11, lost 3 straight. Alcaz is not happy. He's already fired his entire coaching staff. But wow, 4 great owners. King, I'll let you start, man. What are your thoughts on this division? What went down this year and what the outlook is for next year?
Yeah, you said it. 4 great owners. Look at these records. It's absolutely disgusting I'm coming from the perspective of the AFC West over here, and this makes me sick. 14-2, 13-3, 10-6. Even 5-11 from my perspective is incredible. That's basically my record. But, Arizona's turnaround, as you already said, is incredible. But what this division really comes down to is Plex and CG. Until the Cardinals can really figure out, and I think they did it a little bit this season against the 49ers to figure out how to win those division games. This division is right now, was, and will be between Plex and CG. But this division is probably the most powerful division in the entire UFL, just based on those top 3 owners. And once Kaz gets the proper people behind, hires everyone new, and has this draft, and he can really get used to the Rams, it'll make it even that much more of a powerful division to be in.
Good stuff. Yeah, very, very competitive division. Obviously, 3 10-win teams in there. The Rams are definitely going to have to step it up with that poor division record, 1-5 in the division. They're going to have to improve that if they want to have any shot. And that's what it's going to come down to in this division as well, is those division wins. Even the Cardinals at 2-4, hanging in there. Not blowing it as far as those interdivisional games, so that they can stay competitive. But again, yeah, you have 3 great teams. Cardinals doing a lot of great things with their rookie running back. It's nice to see GCG finding a run game. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Three NFC West teams. Obviously, Plex is made it to the UFL Bowl last season. CG wasn't too far behind. The 49ers are stacked. The Seahawks know what they're doing. He's got 136 QB rating with Kellen Moore, which is just ridiculous. Missing a few starters for the Seahawks, which we'll talk about. But again, this division is just a nightmare. Oh, Jesus. I think we're being punked. All right. Okay. All right now. All right. So guys, great analysis on the division wrap up there. King and Renard, thank you for your comments. Some great football being played and very competitive divisions. I think over the course of the seasons, the UFL has just been that much more competitive every season. It's just not easy to win a game in the UFL. There's very few easy wins in the league anymore. Every week, it could go either way, and it's nice to see that. It keeps things fresh and keeps everybody involved. So. Thanks for your analysis on there. We are going to jump into some playoff chat. I mean, we've been kind of preluding to the playoffs, all through the broadcast here, but we're going to talk a little bit about the playoffs. I'll ask you guys your analysis on the game, and if you guys have any comments, I'd like to get some predictions as well, and also what you guys think the key to winning each game would be. So why don't we start? We'll flip the script here. We'll go in the NFC, guys. The 49ers take on the Cowboys. 49ers own the head-to-head 1-0 against a previous Cowboys owner. They drummed them 31-0 in Week 13. 49ers come in with the 10th ranked offense, 15th ranked defense. And while the Cowboys have the 22nd ranked offense and the 8th ranked defense. Key injuries in this game, guys, are Patrick Willis is huge for the 49ers. He is going to be out with a dislocated elbow. He will miss this week. If they do move on, he will be back, but he will not play in this wild card matchup. And then also the Cowboys missing some defensive ends, Jason Hatcher and Mike DeVito. Both will miss this game with rib injury and bruised ribs. So, guys, Renard, why don't I start with you? What are your thoughts on this game? What needs to happen for either team to win, and then what's your prediction in the game?
Not having Willis is definitely a blow to the 49ers, but knowing CG's got a solid game, he'll be able to get around it, and I think he should end up winning this game and advancing to the next round. I mean, I don't know much about the Cowboys owner, so it's really hard for me to pick against CG here.
King, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I agree Willis is a huge loss, but I really don't see it being that big of a deal in this game. CG has the 49ers just running that smooth and that well. The key for the Cowboys, if there was a key, would be to not only create turnovers, but they have to not commit any. All the 49ers have to do, based on what they've done this past season, is just play adequate, mediocre game that they can play. They don't have to do anything special to win. They're that good. And the Cowboys really have to come out and just create as many turnovers as possible, and also they can't fumble. They can't throw any interceptions. I would even say if the Cowboys punt once, that may be the game. Once or twice. If they don't score on almost every time they get the ball, that could be the game.
Yeah, definitely 49ers, one of the better teams in the league as far as forcing turnovers. I believe number 2 in the league as far as turnovers on defense, only to the Buffalo Bills. Looking at this matchup, we don't know a whole lot about the Cowboys. Obviously the keys to the game are going to be the 49ers surviving without Willis. The great thing about that is they have about 15 other guys that can take care of business on the defensive side of the ball. Between the Aldon Smiths and the Justin Smiths and the corners that do a great job and the Deshaun Goldsons of the world. I think this game's easily the 49ers. Cowboys, we've seen him kind of in the last couple of weeks back off because with the division in hand, but I just don't think the Cowboys are going to have what it takes to beat a stacked team and a veteran owner like CG in this game. I'm going to say I'll say 49ers 35-17 in this game. So again, good luck to both owners, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, you never know. So moving along to the other NFC game, guys, Cardinals Bears. In a battle of two friends here, you have the upstart Arizona Cardinals getting in the playoffs 10-6, just beat the Bengals to get in the playoffs, and then we have the Chicago Bears. Tale of two teams here, obviously, guys. One team likes to use the run, one team likes to use the pass, one team has a great offense, one team has a great defense. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in this game. The Cardinals come in with the 28th ranked offense, which seems pretty bad. They obviously don't move the ball as much as they'd like, but they do focus on that ground game. Obviously, not much in the pass. While the Bears have the number 1 overall offense and obviously like to go through the air. So you're going to see two different offenses. You're going to see two different defenses. You have the Bears coming in with the worst ranked defense at 32nd overall, and then the Cardinals, much to many people's surprise, have the number 4 ranked defense. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this game. Now, the Cardinals are missing Adrian Wilson for this game. He had a broken collarbone. He will not play in this game. Rashean Mathis, the cornerback for the Bears, is out also with an injury. So, a couple big stars on defense going to be missing for both sides. But Renard, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on this game? And who's going to take this game? You there, Renard? Dave, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, why don't you go ahead?
All right.
Cards, Bills.
I honestly think this is the Bears game. I think the Bears are going to win it. I'll always root for the Cards unless they're playing me. Grew up with the Cards owner. It's one of those things, but I feel it's a loss coming. Has a great defense, but the Bears can put up points on anybody. And I feel since the Cards don't really utilize their pass, they are a pure run team. Between Urlacher and Peppers, if the Bears back them up a little bit to focus more on the run instead of blitzing the quarterback, I feel that they're going to own the Cardinals a little bit more than the Cardinals can handle. And I think the Bears will win this by maybe 14 to 17 points. I mean, the Bears will win 14 to 17 points. Sorry.
Good stuff, Dave. Good stuff. It's going to be definitely an interesting game. I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. I know the Bears are going to score some points, but I definitely think with the way that the Bears defense is, that 32nd ranked D, I think that the Cardinals are going to be able to move the ball. I think they're going to be able to control the clock a little bit. I think this game's going to be a lot closer than people think. I am going to give the edge to the Bears. Obviously, we've seen what he can do on offense. But I know GCG, and he's a solid user. So he will make some plays. So I'm going to give this game to the Bears. I'm going to say 28. I'm going to say 28-24. But it's going to be an incredible game. I would not be surprised if the Cardinals could pull this one out. I would not. So, look for a big game from the rookie running back Aaron Wiles. Again, it's all about ball possession. If they can keep the ball out of Cutler's hands, or get Cutler to throw some early picks, then we might see a classic here. So it's going to be interesting to see what have. Renard, are you back? Oh, he's still in the bathroom. Okay, we're gonna go. We're going to go over the AFC, guys. 2 games on the docket. We have the Bills versus the Raiders. Bills come into this game 14-2 on the season. They have the second-ranked offense, third-ranked defense, going up against the Raiders, who have the third-ranked offense, 11th-ranked defense, and the 9-7 record. The Bills are 1-0 in the season series, winning in Week 11, 38-17. Eddie Murphy frustrated in the 6 interceptions. Dave, what are your thoughts? Are we going to see we're playing in Oakland, in the black hole there. Are we going to see a repeat of Week 11, or are the Raiders going to do some damage here?
I think we'll see a repeat of Week 11. I want Ant to win. Even though I grew up with you two and root for Game, Ant's in the AFC West. I got to go for the AFC West. But I really think that we're going to see a Week 11. When you look at the Bills, that defense, it really is, even though it may not be ranked number 1, it probably should be number 1. the Raiders, when you look at their offense, they do work on the ground, and their number one receiver is their running back and their tight end, and that's where the Bills really flourish on defense, is forcing fumbles and stopping those short passes without real big deep threats coming out of Oakland. There's not much I really see Oakland being able to produce offensively. The Bills, on the other hand, they may not be scoring as many points on offense as one may expect. It more may be coming off of turnover points, but I do feel that we are going to see, once again, Week 11 showdown between the two where the Bills win handedly, and then we'll get to see the classic divisional rivalry between the Bills and Jets after the Bills win the first round.
All right, good stuff, Dave. Thanks, man. Renard, are you back?
Yep.
Okay, he's here. What are your thoughts on the Bills Raiders? Obviously, we have Bills at 14-2, Raiders 9-7. Raiders won. Their last loss was against a lot of storylines, as we talked about before this. We have Carson Palmer going back up against his old team. We have Eddie Murphy looking to avenge his 6 interception performance from Week 11. What are your thoughts on this game, Renard, and who do you see taking this game?
What a dream matchup for the Bills. I mean, Oakland prides itself on the run. The Bills are quite possibly one of the best run defenses in the league. I can't even see Oakland having a shot in this. Sorry, Ant. But I think the Bills are just happy they drew Oakland instead of the Ravens for this year. So Bills will probably win this one by at least 3 scores.
Okay, but good stuff. Obviously, we do know what happened last year. The Bills came in pretty hot against the Chiefs and could not pull the game out. Down, I believe, 17 points in the first half to the Chiefs, lost by a field goal, I want to say. They're trying to right the wrongs there and avenge that loss. Would be great if they could get past the division, the wild card round. Especially since their coaching goal is to make the divisional round. So we'll see what happens there, but it's going to be a great game. Definitely don't sleep on the Raiders. They're going to bring their A game, no doubt about it. There's a reason they have the number 3 offense in the league. They will try to run the ball. They're missing Denarius Moore with an injury. They're still going to find a way to get it done. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. So good analysis, guys. Thank you. Moving along to the other wild card game is the Ravens and Texans, and this one's about to kick off actually tonight. We have the Ravens coming in. Obviously, he's the champ. He's the incumbent. 5th overall offense, 11th ranked defense, going up against the Texans, 7th ranked offense, 10th ranked defense. Very similar, statistically. Texans own the head-to-head 1-0 in this game in this season, 31-6 victory in Week 7. The big key here, guys, no injuries for the Texans. Torrey Smith out, ACL tear, 19 weeks. One of the Ravens' biggest playmakers. Is that going to be the difference in this game, King? I'll start with you. Missing Torrey Smith, or do the Ravens have this much pretty much locked up? Based on what we saw last season.
I would pick the Ravens. However, that Torrey Smith, that's huge. That was their number 1 receiver, and you weren't kidding. When you look at the statistics from the quarterback, the receiving core, the running back, even the defense, what they would force, it's identical. And I would give the Ravens the edge based on who their owner is. But with Torrey Smith out, I want to give the edge to the Texans. So here's what I feel. I'm torn between the owner versus having their number 1 wide receiver gone. Based on that, I'm going to say Anquan Bolden has a great game. I'm going to give it to the Ravens, 27-24.
Good stuff, King. Good stuff. Renard, your thoughts on the game?
I'm torn. I want to be behind my AFC South brother, but darn good's he's got a very good pass defense. The Texans love to throw the ball to the point where he doesn't even like to run the ball. So if the Texans stay one-dimensional, they have no shot at winning this game. If they can mix in the run and pass and keep darn good maybe on his heels a little bit on defense, I think he could potentially have a shot, but I still got to give it to to darn good, even though it seems that he's already winning. So maybe I'll change my mind. Go Houston.
I'm going to pretend I didn't see 7-0 Houston because I don't think that the Texans can win this game because the Ravens' specialty is pass defense. And obviously the Texans like to pass. Cody Meyer doing a great job for the Texans, putting up some gaudy numbers this season. The Ravens have 3 cornerbacks that can get the job done. Darn good constantly coming out in that nickel set with those 3 cornerbacks on there. I just don't see how the Texans can overcome the Ravens. So, like you said, Renard, the Texans have to get the run game going. If they can get the run game going and get some start shaking things up, get the Ravens to come down a little bit into the box, they might be able to do some things. Obviously, Andre Johnson's going to be huge, and like we talked about before, Torrey Smith being out of this game is also going to be huge for the Ravens, unfortunately, on the negative side. So, going to be a great game. Again, have 2 very similar, statistically similar teams. Ravens at 11-5, Texans at 10-6. Going to be very interesting to see what happens as that game is being played right now. So, guys, any comments? We'll talk real quick about the Jets, Bengals, and then in the NFC, Seahawks, Panthers, both teams with the byes. Dave, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts as far as these 4 teams and your thoughts on their chances of making it, to the UFL Bowl?
I think out of the NFC, the Seahawks have the best shot getting to the UFL Bowl. I do see the Panthers losing in the divisional round to the 49ers, but I don't know what's going to happen in that classic Seahawks-49ers meet. I know this year the Seahawks, I think they beat them both times, but it was, I think, by a field goal each time. And who knows what'll happen when they meet? They may start learning one another. But out of the 2 divisional teams that got the bye, I do say the Seahawks have the best bet. The Bengals are tough to speak on. I feel the Bengals will lose to either the Ravens or the Texans. I really do, and it basically has to do with the noobness of the business. I don't know much about him. He's got a good team, but these 2 owners playing that he's going to have to face next, I think they have a walk into the championship round. And I don't know anymore about the Jets. I mean, I don't believe, but the Bills, they beat them last time. To me, it's a coin toss now. I lean the coin a little bit more toward the Jets, but if the Bills keep it up, I can't say that the Jets have an automatic walk into the championship.
Well, and here's a scenario too in the AFC. If the Ravens do win as the 6th seed, and the Bills win, the Ravens will actually play the Jets because the Jets are the top seed, 1 versus 6. The Bengals will end up playing the Bills. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. If the Texans win and the Bills win, it's going to be Bills versus Jets. And I guess my comments, for their Seahawks, Panthers, Jets, and Bengals. This is a great playoffs. We have a ton of great teams in this playoffs. I can't remember when we had so many solid teams facing off. Even if you're not in the playoffs, it's just great to watch and see how these teams stack up against each other because we have some solid teams in here and going up against each other. These are like the game of the weeks that we all say, oh wow, Panthers are playing the Bears this week. That it's going to be awesome to see who wins that game. And there's 4 games this week. There's a few more next week. It's a great time in the UFL. As far as the competition. So it's going to be awesome to see how this shakes out. Great analysis, guys, on the playoffs. Thank you for your analysis. Let me real quick give me your UFL Bowl prediction and who's going to win the UFL Bowl. King, I'll start with you.
I'm going to go with I think Plex once again beats the 49ers to make it to the bowl, and even though I was hesitant about it before, I just can't vote against Wright. I know he didn't make it last year, but I can't go against him. I think it's going to be Plex versus Wright, and I will give it to. That's hard. That's a really good bowl, but I'm going to give it to my AFC team. I'll say the Jets are going to take it against the Seahawks in a real close battle.
Jets Seahawks, can't go wrong with that one. So nice job. Thanks for your comments, Dave. Renard, what are your thoughts? UFL Bowl matchup and who pulls it out?
I think the UFL Bowl comes down to 4 teams really this year, in the Panthers, the Seahawks, the Bills, and the Jets. I'm going to lean with the Jets.
Oh, we have trolls.
I think the Jets are gonna. I think the Jets are gonna represent the AFC. I'm sure he's got a little bit of bad blood over losing to the Bills earlier, and then I gotta go with Plex and the Seahawks. I can't. For what he does with the players he got is just amazing. So, but at the end of the day, I gotta go with the Jets winning the UFL Bowl.
Good stuff, Renard. Good stuff. And we are joined by Go Cards Go. We're wrapping up here. Playoffs, obviously, in full swing right now. You are facing off against the Bears. Real quick before we wrap up the pod here, because we're going on over an hour. What's your UFL Bowl matchup and prediction?
Ooh. Well, no homer.
Go
if
homer,
I had to go
homer
no
all
homer,
you
I'm
want.
going. No, I think it's pretty cut and dry. You got to go Seahawks and Jets. But I don't know. Maybe the Bills this year. I'll give it to you, bro.
So are you talking to yourself?
Might be the Bills.
No, that's Go Cards.
You guys sound too much alike, man.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely can't sleep on any team. Like I said before, I mean, there's just so many great teams in this playoffs. I mean, nothing would surprise me really. 49ers lose in the first round, maybe. Patrick Willis is on the bench, as we talked about. So there goes 3 forced fumbles. But I mean,
let me put it to you this way. Like I said before, all you have to do is get in, and it's a different ball game. We've seen some crazy games in this league, so
yep,
anything can happen.
Absolutely. But we do have one game underway, guys. We're gonna wrap up the pod here as we are just over an hour.
Who do you have there, Sway? Who are you picking?
Whoa!
Who are you picking, Mr. Homer?
What?
Get out
We gotta get out of here. Obviously rooting for myself. I'm just hoping that I'm taking it one game at a time. Obviously the Raiders are going to be no joke. Playing it in the black hole there. It's gonna be competitive for sure. I'm gonna take the. I'm gonna say Panthers. Ravens.
You'll win more money on that bet.
I'll say Biz gets in. His team is just so dominant right now. It's hard to pick against him. And then the Ravens, it's just hard. I mean, I know they're losing right now 7-0 at least, but
7-3.
7-3. But I mean, again, you're gonna darn good just knows how to win games. And like I said before on the Texans game, it's the Texans just like to pass, and the Ravens are probably one of the best pass D teams in the league. So I'm going to say Ravens, Panthers. So we'll see what happens, guys. But thanks for being on the podcast. Renard, thanks for joining us, man.
No problem.
Anything to add before you get off here?
Cheddar's going to lose the first round.
I got something to add.
All right, thanks again, man, for coming on.
Let me tell you something, brother. You better scout Wiles, and you better scout him good. Because he's coming for you.
Cards obviously had a beer before coming on. King, thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate your insight on the podcast, man.
Absolutely, and again, I changed my pick. I'm going to say Ant and the Raiders go all the way AFC West, baby.
No way,
AFC
dude.
West.
According to UFL bylaws, they have to allow a team in from the AFC West. Hence the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, so again, lots of stuff going on in the UFL, guys. Great to hear that they did fix the cap glitch as of tomorrow. So we're going to be going full
Really?
speed ahead once the playoffs are over. We will not have to do any funny business to once the off season comes. So it's good times for the UFL, man. We're plowing through pretty strong. We got some new fresh owners. Things are going great. Advances are as quick as they've ever been. No complaints here, guys. I know a lot of leagues aren't making it. They're lacking in content. They're just boring, and we continue to just thrive and grow our community and just develop our league. So great job to everybody. Thanks for Renard and King again for joining us on the pod. Real quick before I go, I know CG wanted me to talk about, and it kind of goes with growing our league. We do have the UNCAA that we've started up, which is a sister league or a brother league, I guess, to the UFL. So if you guys haven't seen that already, on the top we have the links there. There's a page for the UNCAA where you guys, if any of you guys have NCAA 13, see about getting in CG's league. He runs a pretty solid league. He's devoted to content and stuff like that, just like the UFL is. It's right on the Engine forums. You can literally hit the UFL and UNCAA in the same shot. And, a lot of good stuff there. So, I know we've never really gotten into the NCAA game, but, like I said, we're always expanding. So check it out. CG's doing a lot of work over there. So, guys, long live the UFL, and thanks for being on the pod.